Yay! Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Joanna from the Early Morning Ascension Show. I'm busy. I'm busy. Just in a meeting room. And so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We're so lucky to have you here amongst all the interruptions. I'm on a little bit of a road trip right now, so I'm staying in a beautiful little place with lots of people coming and going. So I'm so excited. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay. So excited. Look what I have. Look what I have. Yay. It's my fifth dimensional consciousness book. So anybody that would like to find our books on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. I also have our first edition of our Ascension Pathwork. It doesn't look like this. It has a totally different cover. But our second edition or third edition, I can't remember what edition it has been edited so many times. So log on to Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Any of the local bookstores will have our books, and we've written 3 of them, and I'm working on my 4th right now. And hopefully I will have that done by my birthday. I'm so excited to have that out and working on some new things. So, stay tuned and stay tuned. Yay. I'm so excited. So we've got the councils and the beings that are with us right now. And I have some new energy that's with us right now. They're telling me that they were preparing me and acclimatizing me with the Pleiadians for first contact. So I'm really excited. Many of these beings are part of the Children's Collective that are also helping the children acclimatize with many of the programs, the hybrid programs, and many of the children that will be with us on the journey to Ascension and acclimatizing for first contact, because many of the children hold so many enriched DNAs, celestial and alien forms within our DNA. They're so highly advanced, and they're beautiful, special crystalline children and rainbow children. So they're helping me acclimatize. So I'm so excited. So there's many new beings in my energy field right now. And so it's feeling a little bit more alien. There's different ideas and concepts of what alien and celestial is, what our galactic and our multi-galactic universal energies are. And then they're overseen, as I explained in many of my teachings and many of my webinars way back when, the hierarchies of the heavens. And it's not really what's encapsulated and as organized as what we may think here on Earth, because we're so used to such an oligarchic system and such a power-hungry system of hierarchy and labels and ownership and leadership, if you will. And it's really not like that in the heavens. There are the master plans of the holy creators of the highest dimensions for all multiverse evolutions. The universes are also moving through their evolutionary plans, and they're all seaming together and weaving together as a song. And so Mother, Father, God of all creation and all of the universes that hold unique codes. Again, it's micro macro. If you can think of everything as micro macro, it will alleviate the pressure of having to identify and align what is really real as far as what belongs to what, because it's really beyond what the logical mind can understand until you become more acclimatized to a higher consciousness form of becoming. It's not form of thought, it's form of becoming, because as your consciousness grows and expands, so does the thought potentials. And it's really thought potentials. And so if you can think of it that way, it will allow you to continue expanding the mind. The mind has to, in and of itself, choose itself to be expansive and to grow into expansive thought, to grow into the higher mind. It is not what we used to thought and how we used to think thinking to be. So just let that go. Don't be so fixated on what that is and having to figure out and sort it out, because that's the ego and linear, and we're releasing all of that. So allowing yourself to slip into the expansiveness of the thought becoming. Thought becoming is the higher mind becoming, and release what really is a thought form, because we're really harmonizing into a greater galactic celestial song, hierarchies of the heavens that are organizing. We say organizing very loosely. They are singing the song of Source, Creator, Mother, Father, God, of the programs of all life, cascading, if you will. So all of our universal experiences, multiverse experiences that are all moving through Ascension, all of the universes moving through Ascension, and the creators overseeing 12th dimensional, 13th, all the way up to 352, in one universe, and then all universes having their own unique blueprint and soul plan, all harmonizing together in a new now soul blueprint for the all. So we are becoming ever more allness. As we're opening into a fifth dimensional consciousness, we will have that cascading effect of what we're able to tap into our own unique allness. And because many of you come from different realms, different planets, different experiences, you've chosen to take on those unique experiences for what you choose to do here and now, while your intention and your will of heart is very important on allowing yourself to align with timelines. There are infinite a number of earths that are playing out through experience, and it's based on what your soul, as we talked about many, many months ago, how your soul is able to quickly, and we say quickly, meaning that the codes of light will continue to accelerate. The codes of our ascension will continue to accelerate. How quickly is your matter body processing light? And this is why we will see things unfold in the next 6 months that will be very dramatic and traumatic, based on the stories that you've chosen to experience, to view, and to purview, and to perceive, so that you can also clear what's in your field. So whether you're viewing it from another person or from another collective or on the other side of the country, this is the multiverse, but we're saying micro, macro. Whatever you choose to see and perceive is also helping you release and heal and purge. And so just know that everything that you see and feel is a part of your own purging and transmuting. So because of your entrainment, how you've entrained and how you're moving along your ascension cycle, processing, integrating light codes, how you're able to accept and allow all things to be all things, and realigning with who you are, realigning with your intention, realigning with your will allow you to continually and consistently refine your body's and your soul's needs for your greatest health, your greatest wellness, and your greatest balancing, and then maintain your excitement for co-creation. So all of those things are in and of itself oneness, and the multidimensional perspective of your allness, your multidimensional perspective of your capabilities to be in ever evolving light, to be in ever evolving, transforming realities. Many of us can feel ourselves on different timelines and different realities, and it's about how grounded are you here, because the more grounded you are, the more able to your abilities to reach up and reach out and see yourself kind of in a back room experience, if you will, just as if you're driving in a car. You see yourself heading forward because you're in your seat driving and you must be present in that, but you can see things in your peripheral. That's how that feels about being on other timelines. You can feel yourself on other timelines in other ways, in other manners or bodies or experiences, because you're still clothing things up in those experiences. But all of your experience of your soul self, your now self, is harmonizing in a new now. So you have to be focused in the now to keep directing your path. That's how you know that everything that you see and everything that's falling before you is all you. And that's what we wanted to get yourself used to, feeling yourself as a soul and how fluidic that is, without having to define it or objectify it, judge it, or refine it into a box. And that's how we're now seeing all religions, our societal systems, breaking apart. There will actually be societal systems that you're not meant to be on because they're just too dense. And so you'll create yourself a timeline where things are a bit more fluid, so that your ideas can be grounded and anchored to create more fluidity if you're meant to be a part of a really grand social system. So you're going to put yourself on that timeline that is more ready for your ideas, that's more ready for your initiatives, and more ready for your creations. And so just have that unconditional trust. But it's you being in this grounded here and now, you refining your systems in your body so that you're not hanging on to anything. Because if you're hanging on to something, you're not allowing that source light to flow through you, your soul's light to flow through you. So again, you're in the center with you and God in this now moment. Your now heals all. But you can see and feel in the peripheral of all of your other aspects of you having different experiences, because you need that as a part of your whole. As a part of your whole, it helps you assimilate and acclimatize and alchemize all that has been. So you're breaking up those stagnant energies, you're breaking up those collective energies, you're breaking up those, whether it's your lineage or your family, you're helping transmute those energies every day. That's what it's meant by feeling those peripherals in your background, if you will, but they're not in this front now moment because the energies are just too misaligned. And that's how the higher versions of us, as I said, this cascading effect. So if you can think of it as a cascading effect, micro, macro, because the higher versions of us, they can see and tap into us far more clearly because their sensings, extraterrestrial sensory systems, are much more refined. So they can tune into the fifth dimensional version of me, as the ninth dimensional version of them is tapping into the seventh and the sixth. And so all of these cascading experiences can be now felt, and the veils are being removed. But it can feel like a bit of schizophrenic or psychosis, if you will, And this is what some of those experiences have been termed or misguided and mistermed, because those beings have had greater spiritual access to other parts of themselves, but it hasn't yet been understood, and they haven't known or been practiced on how to ground in their body, to harmonize in their body, so that they're speaking from a one unified form. And that's what I'm here to teach, is because we will be accelerating. The codes will be continuing to accelerate. Those of you that are on that fast track, as we talked about before, those of you that have been on the Ascension path for quite some time, are ready to start getting to be more and more a part of the collective New Earth systems. Those will be the ones on the front lines. Those will be the ones that will be creating grander and greater new systems. They'll be a part of the inventiveness for healing. They'll be a part of the inventiveness for socio-altruism. They'll be a part of the inventiveness for cleaning up our airs and our oceans, all of those experiences, and many, many great healings that are to come. But it's about understanding continuation and the acceleration of the harmonization of the soul fragments. And that is, as we say every day, over and over and over again, heal your wounds so they don't become another's. And if you're not practiced in grounding, if you're not practiced in healing and working on those inner woundings, and you're working on those inner child issues and the shadow, all of those energies, if you're stuck in envy, if you're stuck in jealousy, if you're stuck in competition, all of those are the 3D vibrational woundings that you're meant to transcend and clear. And understand that there's new belief systems that you can choose to allow that harmonization, so you're not constantly creating karma for yourself through the darkness and the behaviors of the shadow. So if you're behaving from a shadow, you will create karma, and just continue to create karma, or continue to stay stuck in those negative cycles. So it's important that you heal those shadow aspects or those wounds that had you in competition, that had you in less than, that had you in lack. And it's up to you to create that new sense of self, that beautiful self-design that we've talked about, and it's from within. As you're harmonizing your soul fragments and calling in those soul fragments, whether it's a trigger, whether it's a memory, whether you're waking up with a really big emotional release, if you're working through a dark night of the soul and harmonizing all those fragments of woundings, if you're harmonizing all those fragments of where you were bullied and where you were tarnished and whatever that was, whatever those energies were, continually harmonizing it and alchemizing it and releasing it to spirit, and then choosing with intention the experience that you want to explore, express, and experience for yourself as that new harmonized soul. So what we wanted to talk about today was the refinement. We talked about last week, kind of the acceleration that we're going to be moving on the fast track. For those of you that so desire, that have been with me for quite some time and have been working with your ascension, you're understanding your ascension cycle, you're understanding what a release feels like, you're understanding what an integration feels like, you understand what we've talked about in our books about the ingathering of information. You want to do a lot of research, and then you're going to have that cycle. You can't in your cycle of ascension be constantly ingathering, because you're a multidimensional receptor system, you're a multidimensional sending system, but you can't always constantly be ingathering. There needs to be time to integrate. And integrating means just sitting with those energies, sitting with what you've learned, reflecting what you've learned, observing what you've learned. And there's that great time for just soaking in it and just being with it. And sometimes that can take weeks. You can go through a whole 5-year process of just integrating, because there's been a lot of wounding, and you're having to integrate a lot of healing energy. And so those of us that have been through great trauma, we've spent a lot of time on that inner cycle and that inner experience, the inner realm, so that we can heal those wounds with great compassion, with great forgiveness, so that we're able to show others how important the healing process is to our expansive process, because it's all one and the same. We're expanding as we're healing, we're expanding as we're alchemizing, we're expanding as we're calling in those soul fragments. You can call a judgment a soul fragment, because that judgment is a part and a belief that you've been chipped at. And so those judgments, when you recognize a judgment, I recognize that judgment, I'm going to harmonize it into self-love and self-acceptance. I accept myself as whole, and I accept all others as whole as well. So just affirm yourself through those momentary daily experiences, because why that's important and why it's part of our topic today is that because we're going to be moving on an accelerated experience, it's going to be really important that you refine your practices to be more quickened but fluidic. We don't want you to rush through the process, but we want you to be very clear about how you're harmonizing your judgments, how you're harmonizing your beliefs, how you're harmonizing those painful experiences, and do it in a way that's more nurturing and soothing. You're going to have to get better at self-soothing. And so look at what you've been doing self-soothing to thus far. And that's in any apparent 3D program where we've lived so superficially, and we've lived on outer explorations to soothe us, whether it be through overdoing entertainment and those ways that we kind of detach ourselves from ourselves, and we don't want to look at those wounds. We don't want to look at those painful things that have caused us those energies of disconnect. So all of those experiences, you're having to really look in your daily self-care and your daily self-work and really get refined with, what have I been soothing myself with? And sometimes there are a lot of things we know, overeating, even under eating, working out a lot. Those are ways that we self-soothe, but it must be in a more balanced way now, because your bodies and your sensory systems are becoming much more intricate, and they're becoming much more sensitive. And so as you're becoming more sensitive, just look at the balancing scales, right? As you're becoming more, remember, everything is always the infinity. It's always going back towards the infinity. And your grounding is going to be very important. And your grounding and your centeredness is what creates balance. Grounding and centeredness creates balance. And what invokes that balance is your breath and your surety, and how grounded you are within your breath, how grounded you are within this new sense of self, within this powerful sense of self, where you're not giving your power away anymore. You're not being thwarted or scattered anymore. You absolutely know who you are because you practiced it, and you're standing in that powerful sense of self, and you're just gathering what needs to be. You're observing what needs to be. You're reflecting on what needs to be, and then you can further integrate and work with and suss out what needs to be through journaling, painting, walking in nature, having your communion with your guides. I do a lot of integration just through self-talk. People looking at me if I'm in a coffee shop, or if I'm in my car, if I'm in my workspace, I'm actually speaking with spirit and speaking with guides, and they're constantly talking me through things, because I don't necessarily need to write anymore. I do a lot of journaling, not as much as I used to, but when I do my work, I'm constantly writing and typing, and then I speak it out with spirit. So it's a much more quicker, more efficient process for me, because I'm processing and doing a lot more downloads. So that means my energy and my informations are processing at a much faster pace. So I'm needing to nourish myself and nurture myself and soothe myself. For me, for those of you that are conduits and empaths, for those of you that will be on the front line, will be on part of that acceleration, you will feel yourself, and this is how you will feel yourself wanting to get to it. Like, let's go, come on, let's go, speed up. You're feeling that frustration of why things are taking so long, if you will. So you're really having to slow yourself down and know that your body is transmuting a lot of density. Your body is transmuting a lot of energies. Your body is feeling the quickening of the outer plasma field to your inner plasma field. I'll discuss those in private sessions if you so choose, if you wanted to get in touch with me, because Spirit did not want to discuss that on this video. So if you wanted to talk with me about the understanding of plasma fields and what that means for the quickening and acceleration of your unique experience, then we can have a channeled intuitive healing session, and your guides and your teams can tune in for what your certain pace is. Everybody has a unique pace. Everybody has a unique format through which they'll be falling with and flowing in and of itself with. So we'll do personal sessions for those if you so desire. It's $200 US for every 90 minutes, and they are recorded sessions, so you can look back and guide them. And our email is below. And so, with that acceleration of the energies and the codes, you'll have to allow yourself the creative exploration and how you want to share those downloads and process that information. So for those of us that are channels and conduits and empaths, channelers, whatever you want to call it, there's going to be words that we don't have yet forms for. So they're showing me those of you that are going to be really specifically working with light ships and first contact. There's going to be different ways that you're going to communicate telepathically. They're giving me a word, hydrogenized through various alchemies. And again, we can talk about it in private sessions, because not everybody needs to know. You'll know, because you want that quickening of experience, and it's from the soul level. It's not from the ego. And many of you that are my clients for a very long time, you've been listening to me for a very, very, very long time, since our KCOR days. You understand the difference between it being an ego. Most of you that are with me because you have spirited soul blueprints and plans to move forward. And so those that are wanting things to occur because they want to quicken things and they want to jump over things and they want to get to things faster, they're still working in ego, and they need a lot of healing and woundings to be healed. So we're talking about when you absolutely know who you are and you're working within your new energies and you're being that highest version of you in as many moments as possible, but you're still wanting that acceleration or expansion of soul space, the expansion of using all that you are and incorporating all that you are, meaning that it's up to you to start creating these grander soul moments of your gifts. For instance, this video, we're speaking about energies and codes and alchemizing into a 5D experience in ways that we had never done, it's never been taught before. So we know, I know, me, Joanna, I know that me and my souls are working together to bring expansive soul energy teachings. And it's different because it feels different. We feel like we're learning about the soul and we're being the soul and we're exploring as the soul, but every person must choose how they're going to express as the soul. And those are grander incorporation moments. They're culmination moments of all of your ascension work. That's why it does take time to integrate. What am I integrating today? Well, I'm integrating what really patience feels like. Let's work with patience for a bit. Everybody's going to have to work with patience. What does patience really feel like? What's the vibration of patience? How can I incorporate patience in my day? How can I feel more patient in my speech? How can I feel more tolerant in my speech? What does tolerance mean? How can I integrate tolerance today? Well, I'm tolerant with my body just doing the best it can to catch up. Because remember, everything in the spirit happens first. Your spirit is already alchemizing these new timelines. Your spirit's already intending it with your heart space and with your pure intention, with your amen intentions. Amen, amen, amen. You're intending those intentional timelines with you. But it's the matter body that has to catch up. So everything is spirit first. Everything is energy first. It's through your excitement, it's through your sacred child play. Then you step on it as physical because you're preparing your body for it. As we're being bathed with these new higher vibrational codes, your body has to transmute what was dense. And especially why it's important. The practices of refinement will be how are you moving your body to release those lower vibrational densities that are sometimes stuck in the lower quadrants of the body and deeper cellular tissue and in your organs. And so you will find minor illnesses and sicknesses, specifically with the liver. And so that's why it's important too, if you have refining your life so that you're not drinking and you're drinking as pure water-rich things as possible to help the liver, to help your body alchemize. Your body can only take so much darkness. Your body can only take so much density. And why we've said for months and months and months and months and months is personal choice on what you feed yourself. Through entertainment, through whatever it is that you're doing, incorporating, having your body be around, and really refining your body. If an energy or experience doesn't feel right, really move on. If you're not being nourished, truly make a really powerful discerning shift to move away and move on. How are you being nourished or not being nourished? It'll be really pivotal for everybody to make those choices, because those choices will allow you to align to the timeline that you're really meant to co-create in those expeditious. We say expeditious, but it's not what you mean as time and space. Expeditious means that those great soul experiences you can feel as if it's like a stew and you keep adding these beautiful ingredients. That's what it feels like. It becomes more rich, it becomes more full, it becomes more exploratory in who you are as a multidimensional being. You get to taste life better. Life tastes better because you're experiencing more of the encompassment of who you are. Learning how to harmonize and actualize those aspects of you that you sometimes forget or deny or push away or suppress, because they're meant to be brought into your wholeness, and you're meant to work with those energies of the wholeness. So when you feel those shadow moments, or when you feel those inner child moments, really accept it in and harmonize with it. And that can be a judgment, it can be a belief, it can be a way you practice negative self-talk, where you practice negative self-care with your body, harmful things that you do with your body. Really, really call those in and harmonize them and acknowledge them. That helps you refine those soul moments day by day when we're quickening in our reality ascension. And so thank you, Spirit. So I've got a lot of talent notes. So I'm going to read through them. So this is really about refining your daily practices, because we wanted to talk and touch on, and this all encompasses timelines. There's a lot that we're going to be shifting through and sifting through, because our reality is going to go through a mass awakening. And this mass awakening is really a lot of bathing of light. And that bathing of light will really trigger those that are not living in their truth, that are not living in their light, and it will bring all of these energies forward. So you'll see many people that are, have suppressed their wounding and suppressed their healing, and suppress them so much so that they've separated themselves from themselves, and they become more flight or flight reactive. And so just be present and be compassionate, and really allow yourself the environments through which you're going to take yourself out of those experiences, because you don't need to be in them if you don't need to be. And again, Are you being nourished and kind to yourself and allowing yourself the highest vibrational healing experiences and environments? And just know that everybody's meant to unfold in the way they're meant to unfold. And when the light is going to hit and when the light is going to bathe and when they are triggered, not all people are choosing to do so in the most healing and benevolent, balanced way, because you don't have control of how other people behave or react. You only have power over how you react and how you behave and how you can ground and live in peace and pray in peace. And so just send out those peaceful emanations, because as we're moving forward in the speed of light of who we are, everybody's moving in a new speed of light because their light body is becoming more activated. But it means more harmonization with the environment and with Gaia. So the more heart space activation and grounding you can do with Gaia, the grounding of your heart space with Gaia, the better that your body will be at harmonizing new soul experiences, as Gaia is our receptor for balance. Gaia is our receptor for all of how we move together as a planetary collective. And our hearts are saying we want peace, we want safety and love for our children and our communities. And so there's many of us here that are brought here to bring forward those healings. And so there'll be many secrecies that will be coming forward in many aspects of our social collective, and those will allow us to inspire greater rewrites for our human collective that will include and encompass greater fairness and equity between all peoples and all tribes and all voices, not just the 1% of the collective. And so all things that are coming out are meant to, so be grounded and peaceful in it and celebrate in it. We've come this far. There's much great light that has had to bring those darknesses and those corruptions forward. So we're all doing the best that we can just to live in our own light. That's all you're really meant to do. You're not meant to get involved in things that are harmful or negative for you, but you're meant to stand in your passion and truly speak and be and live who you are. And that's really all that's meant to be. The more that each person stands and lives in their own unique truth, in their own unique excitement, and stands full in their light and stands full in their soul story, that definement of self, that self-design, then that activates others to also stand in theirs. They don't have to, they can choose not to, but you can also choose to be in something that's soothing and loving and benevolent for you. And make sure that your voice is heard by you first. This is my soul's path. This is what I really want to create, and therefore I am that I am. So your choice is your truth. And so harmonizing of soul fragments and the harmonizing of soul timelines. So say this as a beautiful daily affirmation when you're feeling those moments of trigger, of judgment, or negative beliefs or negative self-talk, anything that you're doing, just do a few minutes to take 3 or 4 full body breaths and visualizing your pillar of light. This will just help you with the acceleration of the refinement of who you are as a beautiful soul being, as a celestial and as an alien being. And you're calling in all those wounded child soul fragments. Anytime that your mind wants to fragment off to a lower vibrational belief, you're having to entrain yourself to a higher vibrational belief. So call in all of your soul fragments and visualize your spine, moving up to the highest of the heavens, your pillar of light, bathe your body with the beautiful rainbow light. We love you so much. We love you so much. Feel your heart space opening. Your heart space is being filled up with rainbow light, and feel the creators and feel the heavenly bodies and feel all of your teams bathing you with rainbow light. And just as you're taking full body breaths, big body breaths, feel your body now ground with Gaia. Feel your heart space ground with Gaia. It's a beautiful cord from your heart, rippling down your chakras into the sands and soils, opening up your earth soul star chakra. And just say this affirmation, and you can write your own affirmation if you so choose. This affirmation is for the intention of harmonizing lower vibrational or old soul aspects that need to be harmonized. You're harmonizing in your whole soul aspect. These could be also fragments and energies of residue that are also being shaken off, if you will, because as you're being bathed with greater light, you're shaking off any energies that are no longer needed, that will directly go to source. And you're also shaking up the energies from any lineage that has been stagnant, any energies from your lineage, any curses that are being released and broken, that you get to now harmonize as greater light. And so here's an affirmation just for an example. And just call in those soul fragments. You're not wanting to be scattered. You're calling in all that you are as a soul. Feel yourself ground with the intention of harmonizing and soothing your body, soothing your mind, soothing your spirit, soothing your soul. And you're calling in your higher self and your soul. You're living as a soul with Mother, Father, God, and your healing teams. I harmonize all soul fragments. I harmonize all my soul timelines to the benevolence of creative joy. I harmonize to the creative sacred expression, to the being of harmony. I harmonize all of my wounds and all of the lessons, and I accept it all. I accept all as oneness, and I transform All that is possible, I am expanding. I am with spirit and I am creative joy. I am with spirit, I am creative joy. I am the song of spirit, I am love, and I am harmonized. And ground. I am Joanna, I am Joanna, I am Joanna. And say your name 3 times, and then ground it back into Gaia. And you're now perfectly centered and peaceful and aligned. You're releasing all energies that don't belong to you. You're releasing all fragments of energies that are not meant to be yours, or stories that are not meant to be yours. Your energy is your energy. Your consciousness is your consciousness. And how we are going to move about this new creative exploration that's going to be really fast and accelerating. But it's up to everybody to create those daily practices where they can refine their energies and their emotions and their body and their spirit in a really refined, safe and quickened way. And throughout your day, just do that. Just harmonize your soul fragments, harmonize your mental thought patterns, harmonize it and re-entrain higher vibrational thoughts and ground. It's going to be really, really important so that you don't fly off the handle if somebody's trying to trigger you, because you know you will. New levels will mean new experiences of negative beliefs and negative perspectives, and those beings that are meant to catalyze you into a higher refinement of center. That's all Ascension is. It's really navigating the infinite perspectives of reality, navigating the infinite perspectives of reality and infinite energies and entities and all the beings that are now open to a 5th dimensional experience. And there's always going to be those juxtapositions of energies that you can catalyze a new refinement of self. So just remember that Ascension is very simple. It's just a new refinement of self, a new refinement of self. You get to design who you are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and set those boundaries when you're constantly being tested or pulled away from what is important to you. Because you're meant to continually follow what's important to you and never sacrifice what's important to you. Those are old world versions of stories and dynamics in the 3D world that we're all breaking away and rewriting. Everybody's soul story is important, and everybody is precious and treasurable within themselves, and they're meant to follow those inner realm stories and not break or surrender to anybody's lesser story just because they would like us to be a part of their wounding. They would like us to be a part of their misery. They would like us to be a part of their lack of self, because they all want company and that they want to feed off of your energy, because you constantly seem to work them back into a balanced state of being. That's not your role. That's their role now. Everybody's meant to level up. There's been enough information. There's enough videos. There's enough meditation videos. There's enough chakra videos. There's enough healing videos that are out there. Everybody is now being inspired to level up. No more sitting on the fence. And so there will be an acceleration. There will be mass awakenings with more greater light being bathed. That means there's going to be many of the things that were held underground and that were held behind the scenes that will be coming forward. Because as there's greater light, the greater light cannot and will not support things that are in corruption, because the energies just don't align. So they will be brought up for us to suss out and make real and make new and make better, so that everybody is held in abundance, everybody is held in safety, and nobody will be interfered with and no bodies will be harmed, because there's no need. If you understand universal laws, you're working within universal laws, you're aligning with your higher self would never, ever, ever guide you to harm another, to get what you truly need and want and deserve. But we've been brought up and entrained in such limiting social values and social devaluing and degradation and harm to our wildlife and harm to our planet, that we just are normalized to it and we're numb to it, or truly really dumb to it. And so now it's about who are we? What are my soul values? I'm not going to have my body treated like that anymore. I'm not going to have my mind treated like that anymore. And I'm not going to be allowing anybody to say that their story is more important for me, or to allow their mind games and their manipulations and their mental games or their spiritual games to play any part of my soul's happiness. I know who I am. I know what I experienced. This is my soul's journey. And you're not going to sway or thwart or be pulled into something just because there's planetary or collective confusion. You can choose not to buy into those stories and just create your own loving story of what you're here to create and what you're here to soothe yourself with. And that will intentionally, very directly place you on a timeline through which you're going to be serving those that are always equal in that vibrational level, and offer it as the healing potentials that we all have to do. We all have to take step on, because we can each heal our own bodies and whatever we've come with. That's our toolkit. Everybody's been born with the same toolkit to heal their own wounds. So you're not responsible for anybody else's healing journey. You're not responsible to take on their karma. You're not responsible to go and fix them. You're not responsible to go and lift them up. That's their role. You're meant to empower, to inspire, and to encourage. And you can always show compassion and you can always show understanding, but it's up to them to make new choices for their life. That's how you become a master. You become a master through knowing your ascension cycle. What am I moving through? Who am I? What do I want to be today? What do I want to express or experience today? What is important to me? What are my soul values? When I say and I speak something, I absolutely want everyone to know that that is my truth and there's no wavering on it. Therefore, thus then, I will call in that which is equal. They don't have to take on my truth. I'm not asking them to. I would never ask them to. I don't have to validate myself to anyone. But this is my truth and my story. I know what I know because I've been trained. I've been trained to be me. I'm a blessing. And I'm now full in that story. I'm now really rich in that story. I'm culminating all of my soul fragments because I've worked on all the wounding. I'm not going to be soothed by somebody else. I don't need anybody else to soothe me. I don't need a shiny trinket. I don't need a shiny toy. I don't need to be called someone's person. I don't need to be called someone's other half or other partner or whatever the words or the terminologies are. I don't need any of that because I'm fully married to me. That's all I need. I'm absolutely rich and full in who I am. That's all I need. It's my own self-reliance. And that's where we're redefining ourselves, where women, children, tribes, elders can all be rich in who they are. We don't rely on anybody. Fully full within ourselves. And so we are wanting to prepare you for this shift. And as it appears to be outside of you and your usual reality will feel somewhat like a separation of sorts. So these big shifts that are coming on, it will at first seem like it's a separation of sorts. So as I said, remember that how you know you've gone through a shift is if you can feel more and more in the peripheral. Just like you're driving or in your house of many mansions, you can feel and hear things in the other rooms. So tune in. You can also practice your extraterrestrial sensory systems. That's how they gave it to me. And it's not extrasensory, but extraterrestrial sensory systems. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So tune in when you're just sitting in peace and silence. Tune into the peripheral. What can you hear? What can you tune into? And if you focus on your heart space, you'll tune into things that are loving and kind and good and real. If you're in a wounded space, you're going to turn into those things that are not. So it's all about your vibration again. Get yourself in a good mood before you practice your gifts and your skills, because you're going to tune into whatever your vibration is. And again, as we said before, energy is energy. So as you're intending anything, whether again, from the past, if you're intending any harm on another, if you're intending any ill will to another, that is exactly what will come to you. Because if you're in that intention, you're intending that shun inside your body. And so it will become a part of your body at some point somehow, and it will always return. So again, that is part of the karma spiraling into the soul fragments that have to be healed and claimed and harmonized for those, whether you're a spellcaster, you're the one doing the spell, whether you're one paying for the spell, whether you're one intending it. It doesn't matter who you are in that story. Everybody has to alchemize what they've done. And so that will be a part of their harmony. That will be a part of their soul's lessons and their soul's learnings. And part of the secrecies that will be coming out, all the things that have been in our collective that have been kind of underground, if you will, the light is being based so that all of these things and secrecies come up, and they'll be in every facet of our social systems. And now we're having to fast track those of you that have been ready, but those of you that have been ready have still not been taking 100% action on your gifts and your skills and your talents. So Spirit's now saying, okay, well, there's going to be a big acceleration. Everybody's going to be needed. So what is your true excitement? Are you excited to create new social systems? Are you excited to create new healing systems? Are you excited to be a part of socio-service? What are you excited to be a part of? Are you excited to work with the animals? Are you excited to work with biosphere? So all of those people are being inspired through their dreams, through their activations, through their synchronicities, through whatever it is they're working with as their excitement of their co-creative expression. Because your expression is so important to your own expansion healing. Healing is expansion, expansion is healing. So if you're not expressing yourself, then you're not fully activating those depths and those energies deep, 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 deep within you that activate the DNA, that activate the soul, that activate a new fragment of yourself. And we say fragment doesn't have to mean negative or lower, because now we're operating in those higher aspects and we're calling in the higher aspect versions of us. But if we're not expressing, they don't have any room to come in, because we're not saying it's okay. I'm an expressive being. Bring me more, bring me more, bring me more. And then again, as you're calling more in, give yourself time to sit and play with it. Give yourself time to sit and reflect upon it. What did I learn today about that? How can I learn to work more intimately with nature? How can I hear more about nature? And how can I embody and culminate it into something really rich and then share it? So it's going to be a very rich process. What we're coming into is a very fulfilling, soulfully fulfilling experience for many of us that have been on the ascension path for so long, because we're going to get to feel everything that we've been kind of waiting for, if you will. We're waiting to use our gifts. We're waiting to feel full. We've done a lot of healing. We're now ready to get busy, but now we're going to be really rich in the embodiment process, which thus then is equal to activating your light body. So these will feel as if somewhat a separation of sorts. And the separation is only the word that we can use to define or allow you to understand a shift to a new timeline. Because things that you don't necessarily need in your front view mirror is not needed, so it's going to go to the back. And what they said to me is, there is a constant cleansing in your night repair of what is no longer required to play on repeat. So again, so because we're moving higher and higher into the higher mind, everything that was on the lower cascading versions of your daily mental entrainment is being constantly cleansed and refined. So if you're not doing any purposeful daily work on that, if you're not working on daily affirmations, it's going to be harder. So you're going to feel more of a juggling and juggling about in these shifts. So that's why we've given you all the tools and the skills over the many, many years to work with your daily refinement. And our books have said that as well. Alchemy is really working with your new entrainment, working with new affirmations, talking to yourselves, talking to your innate, being a part of that loving commandmentship so that you're guiding your own ascension journey. And then at nighttime, when you're being repaired on light shifts, when you're being repaired with the teams, it's a much smoother and quicker process, if you will, and your body just kind of catches on just like that. So just know that you're the instigator, you're the inspirator to your body catching on in greater light, to live in greater light, to be greater light. And so it's all about you and your own process and how willing you are to be a part of that navigation, how willing you are to be a part of that driver. And it's not about speed. It's not about speed at all. It's about you living as love and joy and soothing and being peaceful with it. You can sit and alchemize so much just by holding that space in your heart, just to sit in love and joy and do nothing but just be love. That's alchemy. You're clearing a lot out of your body when you sit in that loving experience of who you are, or having a nice deep bath. So again, it's our changing of perspective of what we know to be efficient, because we're now light body beings and we have to be efficient in how we nourish and nurture our bodies and how we practice these new refinement experiences. And so I'll read that again. There is a constant cleansing in your night repair. Remember, we're moving into a new cascade of the higher mind. The higher mind is now being harmonized with the higher self, which means that we're going to have to practice new higher vibrational entrainments of the higher mind. And it will no longer be required to play on those lower vibrating patterns on repeat. You know, that the entrainment of lower vibrational patterns. And again, you'll know and you'll be discerning of, I can't hang around those people anymore. It's just too negative. Because there's too many negative thoughts, especially if you're an empath, you can pick on all the negative self-talk. Even if they're not saying anything, you'll pick up on the negative vibrations in their field. You can pick up on the negative self-talk that they've only been taught because that's what they grew up with, or that's what's in the schools, or that's what's in the social systems, or that's what's on the violent games that we're trying to conform humanity on. So all of those experiences, you're going to have to refine for you what really feels good and inspiring and engaging, and what is healthy for you and what is not. Somebody that's been working on ascension for quite some time is not going to go back to a lower vibrating reality. It's not going to serve them. They're not going to be served. They're not going to be healthy, and they're not going to be healed, and they're not going to be nourished. So again, everybody has a different pace on what they will be nourished, they will be aligned with, and spirit will always help you align to greater fields of light and expansion, because you deserve as your birthright. Your birthright is deserving to be fed and nourished and held safely. And hold yourself high first. And so everybody will move through their own version, through their own free will and their own choice to let whatever they need to let go. And that's just a constant, as we said, daily harmonizing, daily letting go, daily refinement, and allowing yourself to be that higher cascading vibrational thought as you're harmonizing into the higher self. You'll know. You'll know because you'll just sit in silence, and all of a sudden you will hear the higher self very, very vibrantly. It's like, whoa, I didn't hear that before. It was just kind of like a faint whisper, but now it's like, wow, that's the higher self. And you'll know that you'll have higher vibrating thoughts. Well, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. It's more I can. That's the expansive mind thought. So you'll know the difference on now you're in the new timeline. Now you're in a new experience. And that higher timeline is going to start anchoring those higher vibrational actions and behaviors. Again, it's all cascading because your higher self is feeding you those, but you've got to step up. You've got to meet that higher self. Because remember, that releasing that we're doing on the light ships, again, that cleansing, we're constantly cleansing the vibrations that no longer suit us. We don't have to play those vibrational lower patterns on repeat. We're going to break that code of repeat. We're going to say, no, I can. That's breaking the codes of repeat, putting the negative patterns on repeat, putting the negative thought forms on repeat, and whatever is in the social imprints on negativity or subjugation or depression or suppression or discrimination. Doesn't matter who you are, what face you are, what color you are, what religion you are. All of those energies have been imprints in our collective because it's been eons of one style of being. And so now we're having to entrain ourselves and really harmonize and integrate at a much faster pace because we're moving at a faster oscillation, if you will. Our bodies are higher light than they were. A release of all old substantial memories will be purged, and simply affirm in your everyday work, I accept that as a part of my soul's journey, that I love myself and all involved, and I release any painful memories or any memories that are taking up space. So affirm to yourself, and then we're just giving you examples. You can word it in whatever way that suits you because your body will listen to you, your mind will listen to you. So when we're saying that there's always a constant cleansing and repeat and our cleansing of the repeats and the purgings, whatever is no longer needed, whatever dense memories are in your field, you can release those through your affirmations and just doing your daily cleansing and refinement. So I release any memories that are taking up a lot of space and a lot of energy in my energy body and releasing them. Those will help you be in that vibratory alignment of that timeline that we're now accelerating to. And everybody will have a different experience of their own unique timeline. And so we're giving you a really great and fast overview of how some of these ascension symptoms and these ascension shifts will feel. Those of you that have been on the path for a while, those of you that are on the fast track. So I'll read that again because that's important. So again, you're constantly on an evening, you're constantly on a cleansing in your night repair on ships and in your night healing. So affirm to yourself as you're going to bed. And many of you that have been on my classes, many of you that have been on my personal healing sessions, I do give you explorations and how to move into, just before you fall asleep, an evening alignment for healing and youthing, bringing your body to greater youth and aligning with your higher self and your higher body. And again, so you can book an appointment with me if you like. So I release any old substantial memories and I ask them to be purged. This is my simple intention. This is my will. Any memories that are substantial that no longer are needed, I release them now. And I ask Spirit to harmonize them for me. I heal and I forgive through compassion and love for all and myself and all involved. So just affirm those experiences. If you're having that pattern run completely over and over and over again and over and over and over again, you just surrender it to source. I've done everything I can do. I can't do this anymore. I've said everything that needs to be said. I've done everything that needs to be done. I've forgiven 8 billion times. It's over. And close the door. Because nobody has right or will over you to continue running stories that don't need to be run. And those that have a hard time letting go and those that want you to be on their story or their timeline, they're going to want you to keep that door open. But you have to sever those cords and those ties and those stories because you want to be on a higher versional timeline. And perhaps they might be there in a higher version of themselves, or perhaps they might not. But that's up to your higher self and the soul and your contracts that you've agreed to at the highest level of consciousness. And at the human level at this point, because there's so much going on, just be aware that everything before you is a miracle. And then you're going to be with those who you're meant to be with. So just know that you don't have to keep running the vibrational harm patterns, victimization, and all of those. You can choose to release victimization stories because others that are playing victim want you in their victimization stories with them. And you can choose not to play those patterns. So again, I release these substantial memories. I release these substantial residues. I release these substantial patterns and stories. They're not mine. I choose to release them. I've learned my lesson. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And then in your journaling and in your expression and in your culmination, you want to feel rich as a soul. You want to know why that helped me. Why did I serve that? Why did I choose that? You want to know why you chose that. Well, because there was a pattern inside me that I had to fight for my rights, I had to fight for my voice to be heard, especially those of you that are women or disenfranchised. We shouldn't have any disenfranchised. Higher intelligent beings, we should not have any disenfranchised. Why would we? We should not be seeing images on our internet that see people glorifying themselves with machine guns and shotguns that have just killed gorgeous, sacred, beautiful animals that teach us so much and hold so much sacred energy for our planet. Why is that glorified? Why is that okay? Why is that a thing? Why is it a thing? For us to be okay to place our children and take our children on wild gaming hunts and to have our children see that it's okay to normalize such violence to such sacred, beautiful animals that hold such sacred energy. We're showing them that it's okay to violently violate and kill and maim gorgeous, beautiful, sacred animals. Why is that okay? Why has that been okay? Why has it been okay to traffic humans? These things will be coming out, and we have to be able to sit and be soothed in our collective choices, how we've separated ourselves from gorgeous, sacred experience and how it's been a corrupt business. We shouldn't be having businesses for killing. How is that even a thing? And for many of us, it's hard to discern. It's hard to even sort that out psychologically. But Spirit said, don't be dismayed at what you see and what comes out. Don't judge it. Just sit in neutrality with it. Because many of you will have to, because you're empaths, and it will be hard to see the distortions of such hatred and violence to such sacred, sacred light, because your hearts are so pure and soft. But the psychology of those that have done that are completely different. Their psychology is wounded, and they continue in wounded psychological patterns. The psyche is multidimensional, and it's been misunderstood and misguided for so very long, and it's been misdiagnosed with many different disorders and diseases of the mental body that are completely, most often than not, misunderstood and misguided, and then of course misdiagnosed, and then of course using medicines that are not appropriate, that just harm the body, and they take the body out of its soul self, and they numb and dumb the body down, because the body is meant to be on this energetic ride with the whole spirit. So these are these great, exciting things that we're meant to come into, but these are things that will have to come out, that everybody will have to take advantage and care and gentleness and peace and non-judgment, because we as a collective have created it. We as a collective created our virus. We as a collective can create new ways to heal and honor our bodies so that there is no vaccines ever needed, ever again. There shouldn't be a monopoly about vaccines and money being made around it, and it being so important with any disease or cure. And there is. Why is that a thing? Because there's not. We're absolutely in control of all aspects of our bodies. We don't have to have fears about vaccines, because we can control the constituents within a vaccine. You can heal your body and absolutely change the constituents, because you absolutely know your body is already healed. You can have that be a vitamin B shot if you wanted. So there is no fear of anybody having any control over your body. You're absolutely choosing with your truth and with your knowing, your oneness with God, your alliance with light, what your reality is going to look like. And you can just release the fear on anybody having control of you. And again, soothe those parts and those judgments and those beliefs on why you chose that story to be controlled. Because it's in your lineage, it's in your planetary and your galactic and your alien and your cosmic experience that you're meant to transmute. Don't judge it, transmute it. So that's, again, harmonizing those parts of you that you got to be real with. You got to sit with that discomfort, because what's going to be coming out will be uncomfortable in many, many ways. And we've all created it. So how are we going to be a part of healing it at such a profound level through which it can be something really profound for eons and eons and collectives, profound collectives that are going to be waking up to a higher vibrational way to soothe themselves and create self-alignment so they never have their bodies trafficked. They say, absolutely not. You're not touching me. You don't have say over my body. I will not be sold. I will not be bought. I will not be told to be quiet. I will not be told to change who I am, to change my own expression. I am who I am, and I am that I am. You go and be you, and I will be me, and go in peace. And stand firm in your standing. Do not stand down. Stand in who you are. If you are having no interference with anyone else, you have your right to be you. And if you're living purely and sacredly within your story, and you are heeding the spiritual call, and you are living in your higher self space, it will disrupt those that are absolutely not, because they are not in line with their higher self. That's just the natural organic experience of the infinity. What is here will activate here. What is here will activate here. It's all one, just on opposite ends of the spectrum. It's still together. It's still one, but none on either way have any right to hold anyone in any form of must have and must be. No one has that right on anybody. You have your right to fully be you. When you're standing in alignment with your higher self would never, ever guide you to harm someone so that you get what you want. Your higher self would never do that. So that's how you know. When you're in higher self, you're always speaking of your highest truth, and you know the benevolency of light. You know the benevolency of how to work with energy. You understand the benevolent laws of the universe, how everything will always come back into balance, and you can just surrender and trust. Spirit will always assure that balance will be made. And regardless of how long a human might not want balance to be made, because it will hinder them, and it will disrupt their selfishness and their selfish gains and their selfish corruption. Spirit will say, well, that's time. You've had many years to make this right. You've had many years to bring balance, and you're choosing not to. Therefore, you've surrendered your free will. And Spirit will come in and wash it all away. And that's why everything will be lifted up, and all of the secrets will come out, because people have been given enough time to choose different ways, enough time to choose higher vibrational patterns, enough time to choose self-love, enough time to choose making things right where they've harmed others. enough time to choose their understanding that nothing has to be taken from anybody to receive full fulfillment. Nothing. Everything of fulfillment is within. There's no crime needed. There's no violence needed. There's no corruption. There's no taking from another. It's not needed. It's not necessary. And that is universal truth. And thus, therefore, who are you? And if you're in that idea of competition and wounding, I've got to take, I've got to this, I've got to that, then there's deep wounds that need to be healed. Because those are truths that you are willing, if you so choose, to come into alignment with. I can receive anything if I so choose, because I'm worthy of it. Where's that belief? Let's get rid of that belief. I'm ready to step up to a higher level of cascading alignment, because I get to. I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to go on my way, and I'm going to create what I'm going to create. And no one's going to stop me. I have that right. I have the right to create, and I will not stand down. I will not be suppressed. I will not be told that my voice doesn't matter. I will not be told that my creations are ridiculous or whatever. Those are your perspectives from your level of consciousness. I have the right to see everything that I do perfect, because it is, because I'm me. I get to speak on me. Nobody knows me. Nobody gets to speak on me. They don't have that right. They don't even know me. So laugh all you want. You don't know me. I know me. God knows me. And so too, God will bless that which is blessed. And that's why the unfolding will have to be everyone standing in their power to be ready for what they're ready for. Because what you put out is what you get back. That's discernment. And that's why working on these daily experiences will assure, yeah, I'm ready to work. I've been doing this for so long. I'm ready to receive. Let's do this. Okay, so you're constantly alchemizing. And as each of you are at varying processes, remember, processing, integrating light, processing and integrating the wounds, processing, integrating your stories, processing, integrating reflection and objective reflection. You know, what did you learn? Why did you choose that? Why did you want to choose that? That's mastery. And the more that you do reflect, the more that you do look into why you chose what you chose will show you the beliefs about who you are. And then refining them and leveling up with the higher mind. And then ask your higher mind, say, come on, higher self, I want you to show me today, who am I? Let's work with you, higher self. Call in your higher self every moment of your day. I'm one with my higher self. I speak with my higher self. I am my higher self. I am that I am. You're all at different varying processes of how you're managing frequencies, navigating frequencies, and choosing frequencies. And it is always a realignment back to the heart. So everybody will be on the pendulum because we're moving through ascension. We're releasing wounds. We're releasing our inner child, inner energies and issues. We're releasing fragments of the story. We're calling in the soul fragments. It's a constant pendulum, but our realignment is always with heart. That's how you know you will always maintain your path and your alignment. You will always be on your path when you realign to your heart and choose from your heart. That's how you'll know that you will be having to clear fewer and fewer karma, and you'll be living more and more in your dharma. It's through your heart space. Remain visible on the same thread and the same tweed. So a tweed is like the fabric tweed. You will always be with and what you're meant to be with. So just release the fear of who and what will be in front of you, because your vibration will dictate that. So your only concern should be your vibration. So remember, you're constantly alchemizing, constantly on a pendulum, constantly realignment back to your heart space. And then you know you'll always be, and I'll have those that are meant to be in front of you. Choosing to move vibrationally and explore vibrationally in the trusting of who you are becoming. So just trust, I'm becoming the best version of me. I'm becoming the best version of me. I'm becoming the best version of me. I'm realigning to the highest version of me. And so again, here's another affirmation. This is my new vibrational space. I accept and I allow myself to fully be me. I am happy and excited to explore all that I am, and I thank my soul, I thank my ancestors, I thank the creators for my gifts and all my blessings. I am that I am in this new expansive reality. So see yourself in this new reality. See yourself incorporating and processing the light. See yourself letting go easily, more and more easily with flow. See yourself moving more and more into a fluidic relationship with yourself, with your soul, with the environment. And so your affirmations will align you with what you want to see yourself experiencing. I see myself flowing with a greater expansive reality. I see myself expanding into greater health. I see myself expanding into greater alignments of self-expression and self-service and collective service. I'm aligned with my higher self. I'm aligned with the health of who I am. I'm becoming more youthful every day. So affirm where your body is, affirm your mind, affirm your spirit, harmonizing into greater soul, pictures and essences and culminations and rich, rich stories. It's going to be really exciting and really fulfilling. I am that I am in this new expansive reality. I am healed, I am creative, and I am joyful to spiritually align to greater and greater realms and greater timelines of self-expression. I am my soul, and I am all that I am. Amen. So affirm where you wish your timeline to be every moment that you can, and just allow things to unfold. Just allow things to be rich. Allow yourself to say goodbye to those that are leaving and moving into different expressions. And they wanted to say, I wrote this down because I've simply moved through a loss in my life. And I've noticed something in the last little while. Now that I'm becoming more and more of my soul, and again, the peripheral is there and I can always tap into it. That's how I know that those that leave us are never really gone. They're always in our energy field, because I can feel it. As a conduit, I can feel energy, right? I can feel specific threads and energy, and it's just little reminders. It's like little memories that come up. That's how being a conduit feels. They're vibrational memories, and they're just connected to the people and to the timelines, to energies that you know. Because I'm a conduit, I can feel of different timelines, different planets, different realms, different galaxies. And so that's just the pace that I work at. It's a very expansive fabric of being. And so it's very quick and it's very exciting for me, because I like to work at that pace. I like to work an expansive, quick pace of downloading information, discerning it, refining it, attuning it. What is it? What does it mean to me? How can I move in appreciation of it? So I like to really explore those really fine tunes of thread that source is, or really threads of energy. They're threads of pockets of memory. That's what a conduit does. A conduit really envelops all that is the source song, and then we try interpret and discern and express it in a way that others can understand. There's far more going on than we ever thought. And there's very few conduits that talk about what life really feels like being a conduit. When you're a conduit, you're tapped into the all song, and it's very rich, vibrant, full, and why you never really feel alone, or you never feel lonely, or you never want to rely on anybody, because your life is so rich and full. You're feeling the embodiment song of anything that you want to pull from the consciousness of whatever, and you can feel the richness of that song. And then you get to explore it and discern it, and you get to interpret it. And that's why you never really feel lonely. You never really feel sad about yourself. You actually feel quite profound about yourself, because you're becoming more rich and more full. And so it's a really big song. And so what they said is, so that's the affirmation that you can work with. So when you're losing people, the essence of who you're losing will always be in your connection. There'll always be a connection that you have with that person. There's always going to be that higher self experience. You're connecting with their higher self and their guides, and they can thread you a memory. They can thread you, yeah, they're doing okay. Yeah, they wanted to wish you well. Yeah, they wanted to say they love you. You'll always connect with that higher version. If there's things that are unresolved and unhealed, just say through forgiveness affirmations, I forgive all of our experiences together and I release you. Because they sometimes in their energy fields will feel stuck and connected to you until that forgiveness is fully done. And you might be holding deep resentment. So whether it's a father wound, a mother wound, or energies, those energies will still be there kind of as a frustration, or as a, like a little poke and a pick. That's when you know there's still forgiveness to be had. So tune into how you feel, tune into how your bodies are feeling, your fields are feeling. Then you get to move beyond that by forgiveness and compassion. And so those people that you lose will always be in your field, and you can always use that energy of wholeness to incorporate them into your now moment, because they're with you in your field to feel a part of what you're going through. That's the oneness factor. That's the unity factor. That's where you can feel people on the other side of the world that are having a tough time. They want to be a part of your ride, and you can help them through alchemizing love and compassion. As conduits and empaths do, our energy is all now, it's all one. So we're helping the world heal in our moment that we're sitting in peace and love of ourselves. So all of those are aspects of our unity. That's how we all become unified. That's how we all become one. And anytime that you lose somebody, their energies will always be in your field to work on things you haven't yet resolved. You're always constantly moving back and forth through timelines, if you will. If there needs to be that clearing, that residue, then just continue forgiving, and write out your expression of what you experienced, write out what you're now seeing and feeling about them. And then you will be on a timeline, if they so choose, if you so choose, to be in a higher versional aspect of them with them, because you've gone through that alchemy with them. You're constantly to be in the fifth dimension. Let me make this clear, because this is really important, and this is what's not being talked about. So I'm bringing in first time teachings only. It's very important. If there are frequencies and energies where there has been unresolved residue or unresolved stories, but they were an important part of your soul contract, you will always continue to have that alchemy experience, which is in and of itself a timeline. You will be, as they said earlier, moving farther and farther away as a disassociation, if you will, because your energy, your core vibration, moreover, is on a higher vibrational frequency. I just had a really big download. My ears are ringing. So that's a really important factor. So just know that your core vibrational energy is moreover important, and you're a part of you on that lower vibrational frequency still has some alchemy to work out, but you can do it in your now moment. So they said to me a little while ago that I'm going to be feeling more and more having the ability to split my consciousness. And we can do that. It's called bilocation. And you can do as many locations as you want. The higher you go in consciousness, the more you're able to split your consciousness. But those of you that are new at Ascension, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody to say, I'm going to bilocate, because you don't have enough practice or entrainment with your consciousness in and of itself, especially if you're working through, or you know that you have a lot of healing to do. Bilocation can come about, and it is really the separation, the splitting of your consciousness. That's what really that is. The only words we have right now, because we've never experienced bilocation in the human form, is it just feels separate. So it's just feeling like in the peripheral again. It isn't separate. It can never be separate, but it's what feels as if you're moving farther and farther away, as if you're moving across the country, if you will. You know they're there, but you're just not going to see them every day. And you can have that vibrational connection. You can have that vibrational experience. But it's not going to be needed, because you don't want to drop your vibrational down to be with them. But there will be parts of you, parts of small consciousness, to continue healing that story. And your higher self, if you surrender that to your higher self will know what needs to be worked on, what residue needs to be worked on, so that you can represent a new now moment story, so that you can work on it in the now, which helps release that. That's how profound this really is. It's like multidimensional, really amazing stuff. So if you need to listen to that over again, listen to it and make notes on it, because especially those of you that are having a tough time releasing people that you had trouble with, people that you wronged, people that wronged you, all of those are really, really important to let go of before you hit 5D. And you will hit 5D for the most part of your core energy while you're releasing residues from other timelines that are more dense. And that is called the splitting of the consciousness, because as a master, you know how to do that with precision and refinement as we're more and more awakening, because you will have worked on who you are. You will know your soul story. You will know how much of your time and your consciousness to spend in those energies, because you can't and you won't want to spend there too long, because again, it's a drop in vibration. And it's not going to be healthy for the overall collective. It's not going to be healthy for the overall story. But there will be parts of you that will be in the peripheral that can still continue to forgive and let go, especially if you've had deep, 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 deep traumas. You can still maintain your progression forward, but there will be parts of your consciousness working on other things. And again, if you're new to Ascension, and if you think it's an ego thing that might be fun to do, you only do it because it's serving you to forgive and release, and because others need you to forgive them. And so those are very deep trauma stories, and they need to be alchemized, and everybody has to alchemize their stuff. So those of us that can feel things on a multidimensional level, on a cascading level, on a vibrational timeline level, on a vibrational plane level, that's how it feels. And so they were telling me a while ago that this is what I will begin to feel, and I'm beginning to feel it. So now I'm telling you. So again, when you lose people through death, it's just another rebirth. So there is no real death. It's just a constant new version of life. You're going to feel them in a different way vibrationally. You'll still be with you, and then you get to have a different experience with them. You get to have telepathic communications with them and just help them through their healing. But you get to set boundaries, and you get to set guidelines as to how much they're allowed to engage with you. And your higher self can work with you on that. Especially of those of you that are channels and mediums, that you will be helping with animal mediumship and human mediumship, you're going to have to set boundaries as to how much beings and energies and entities can work with you, so that you're going to maintain that safety factor for you, that health factor for you, and you're not being drained. Because there's energies and entities just want to play with you because you got so much light, because you're so excited to connect with everything and everybody, but you also have to maintain protection for yourself, because you're only one person and not everybody can take from you. And so those of you that, and again, will have social platforms that are mediums, that do have those excitements in your field and in your service, be sure that you're working with your higher self to say, what is good for me? How much of an engagement do I have with this one entity? How much engagement should I have with this collective? How much engagement should I have helping the collective? And how much time is needed and necessary for me to recover and recoup? And always, again, on light shifts at night, you're always in a state of vibrational cleansing and purging and realignment. But that's up to you to be your own commandership of. And so we really went over a lot of information. So that was awesome. Thank you. again, so they said, here's some ascension symptoms that we're going to be coming up with. So allowing yourself to be flowing in more of a creative ease. So be more creatively flowing. And that's where you're always creating those new timelines. You're feeling that future now. You're feeling that future now. And so they said that we will be feeling, like they said, I've got these beings in my room that have never been with me before. They've been with me. I felt them a while back. So I know I can and recognize their energy. So it was nice to have them with me. Thank you. They're right here. They're with me right there. Thank you. They're laughing at. They're very, very sweet beings. Very, very sweet and very silent. They're just very happy to be with me. And so I'm so grateful. And they're preparing me so that they can show themselves to me when the time is ready. But they're very, very lovely and happy. And so I'm just holding their hands and playing with them right now. So your extraterrestrial sensing will come on board. Sensing light, sensing the different variations of aliens, like the light grays. Those are the beings that are with me right now. They're part of the Pleiadian collective, and they're working with the Pleiadians to assist us in first contact and assimilation and acclimatization to aliens and the alien vibration. There's many, 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 many different types of aliens, cetaceans, and all of those beings that are on our planet. They're aliens. They're high vibrational beings and they're high vibrational energies. They all have soul blueprints and soul contracts. And the aliens with us make us feel more at home and at ease with who we are. And if you haven't worked through the fears because of the stories that you've been told about aliens, about all the memories and the beliefs that you have about aliens, it's about you clearing and purging those energies. So if you do feel fearful about aliens, then work on those stories that you have and you're holding on to that need to be released. Because if you have those fearful stories, you're going to end up attracting fearful aliens that want to play those games with you. So just work on those beliefs. Because the first contact and acclimatization is you meeting your soul family and meeting the ones that you've been working with on the higher realms and in those light ships, in your daily work and on the other peripheral realms and the timelines that you're working with them. So thank you. Let's see that. Thank you. And they work with the Pleiadians to assist. The Pleiadians are now, the Pleiadians are kind of like their guides, helping the light grays, because we've helped the grays a lot in our in their species to renew and regenerate themselves. They're using a lot of our human DNA because they came into a very destructive de-evolution with their species, the grays, and they've maintained through our DNA hybridization programs using our human DNA that we've all contracted. It's all been an agreement on the highest soul level. They haven't used us and abused us in that way where it's been not of permission. All of these contracts are done at the highest level of permission. And we've been a part of those hybrid programs. We're helping them evolve. And so they're very, very happy because they've now become light grays. They're becoming more lighter in their energy and in their consciousness as we're ascending to higher vibrations of who we are as humans. So too are they, because they're our DNA. They're using our DNA, they're using our genetics, they're using a lot of what we've offered to them so that they can evolve their species. So there's many, many programs that are going on that we're helping, and they're going to be a part of our first contact and acclimatization and assimilation. They're very, very sweet beings. And so I'm very grateful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And they're working with the Pleiadians to help us acclimatize, because the Pleiadians are kind of the grandfathers of the first contact experience, because they're most closest to us. So they will be assisting us in acclimatizing to many of our first contact experiences. And so again, those of you that are, we're going to be coming more and more in attunement and alignment with our plasma codes and the assimilation of plasma to the plasma. That's how Ascension will move through these new experiences. I see it. I'm probably going to do another show about it, because it's going to be very difficult and I have to channel it on how it's going to occur, because we don't have the words in this experience. Because it will be a multi-dimensional fluidic experience, not of so much of physical. And then you will wake up, as what they've explained to me, you will wake up feeling separate, but it's only an explanation of a word that we use, but again, it's peripheral. It will feel as if everything from before has been peripheraled. Your plasma experience, and if you want a session with me, a healing session, an intuitive session, I can explain to you what that means. Because it will be unique to everybody and what everybody needs to hear and how they need to hear it as to what that means for them, because everybody's at a different pace of recognition of who they are. Everybody's at a different processing of who they are. Everybody's at a different healing stage. So your guides will help me explain it however you need it. But they didn't want me to explain it on here. And those will be private sessions if you wanted me to explain more and give you a better understanding of what the whole plasma thing is about, because it is absolutely involved in our ascension. And so grateful, so great. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thanks, Holy Spirit. And we are becoming the holy, the celestial extraterrestrial understanding of the extrapolation of who we are. So look up those words. What does extrapolation mean? What does they said, the encapture? To be encaptured is the involvement in the encapsulation of who we are, the delight of who we are, all of those experiences and all of those energies. So if there's a fear coming up when you're coming into contact with an alien energy, because you can feel in your field, feel into that and release that story. Is this being of goodwill for me? Is this, because when you're sitting down and doing work like I'm doing, I prepare myself, I prepare the energy, I prepare the space, I prepare the field, I prepare who I'm speaking with, I prepare all the beings. It's a preparation process. And if you're not being and around people that are not preparing in the highest of benevolence, you're going to be working with energies that are not of the highest benevolence. So again, it's understanding universal energy, it's understanding laws of energy, it's understanding how to prepare yourself. You're being tested all the time on how you're working and honoring energy. Are you of the greatest benevolence, or is it still an ego ride? So you'll constantly be evolving into your own practice of your own benevolency, and everybody's guides and your higher self are working with you. That's why if you're in alignment of the highest benevolence, your guides would never ever tell you or tempt you or taunt you to work with lower vibrational energies or to harm somebody or to do black magic on someone. Your guides would never ever say that or guide you in that direction. You choose to, as an ego person with wounding, to do that because you want something, feeling that you have lack or a lack of sense of self, or you're wanting to control a situation or a narrative. But your higher self would never ever tell you to go out and get black magic, to block somebody else so that you get what you want, or you confuse a situation so that you can have people believe what you want. Those are ego wounds that have to be healed. And so as we're healing, we will all know that we will all receive and be fulfilled in whatever ways we so choose. Doesn't mean it's wrong. That's what that soul needed. And there's contracts to allow you to release what you feared about, black magic or people controlling you, or the enslavement. We have to heal those enslavement issues for our planet to be free. And everybody has their own enslavement issues. Everybody has their own discriminatory issues. Everybody has their own imbalances of the divine masculine and feminine energies within you. So everybody is aligning and healing and balancing their divine masculine and divine feminine. If you're operating in a balanced divine masculine and feminine energy, you don't need anything from anybody outside of you. And you're going to align with the perfect counterpart that is also balanced. Because they know that they can be intuitive, they know that they can receive, they know that they have free will, they know that they don't want to be a hindrance to anybody. They're relying on themselves. So it's always that perfect balance. But we've been taught in such warped experiences of who we are and the psychology of who many of the wounded are, because we're all working through our wounds and we're all expanding into more expansiveness of who we are. But the psychology of that is much different than somebody that understands universal law. So there can't really be a judgment, but there can be absolutely owning your truth and owning your power and owning your consciousness so that you can release yourself from those stories, because nobody has power over you. Nobody has the right to tell you where you're going to be or what you're going to do and what level of consciousness you're going to sit at. And you can't force another to be on your level when they're just not ready and they're just not trained. And spirit is absolutely the designer of it all. And spirit will say, now you're ready. Let's go. You've been tested. Let's go. That's why you have guides. You have guides because you have a soul blueprint. And that soul blueprint is going to want you to be ready and be prepared in every way possible so that you can stand fully in your truth, just as Jesus was. Standing fully in your truth, because Jesus knew there was going to be backlash. Jesus knew there was going to be separation and blasphemy because his story was miraculous. But he had to face all that and say, it's okay. You can believe whatever you want. That's your level of consciousness. Mine is different. I'm here as a master. I know who I am. And I'm here to help humanity. Who are you? Come out of conformity. Come out of segregation. Just come out of separation. Come out of greed and jealousy and competition. The same story is playing over again, just in different ways. So that's up to each of us to heal and stand in our own power, stand in our own story, and make that new earth a version of what you choose to see. See your body acclimatizing to greater light. See your body in acclimatization of first contact through your now subtle experiences with those energies you're calling in your room, the beautiful energies you're calling in your room. Call upon your higher self and your guides and your teams. Help me work on those deepest wounds. I truly want to heal those deepest wounds. So I want to be ready for my expansiveness. So be the director and be the commandmentship of who you are. You have that right. That's who you are. And so, dear lighted ones, we're so happy and we're so very grateful for you today. For those of you that would like to donate, we'd love, and we're so grateful for your donations. We love each and every one of you, and we're so honored to be with you. We wanted to offer this very beautiful array of the acceleration of our energy fields, the acceleration of those that so desire to be more and more beautifully engaged with who they are and working on their divine soul blueprint, working on their daily path. And we're so proud of you for coming this far It's really been a tremendous ride. And we absolutely know of the joy and the expression that each and every one of you have, the beautiful soul blueprint that each and every one of you have. Really create that beautiful daily self-care. Your daily self-care is so, so important. So take time, soothe yourself, know and discern and define what soothes you. Be a part of that beautiful blessing that you're always meant to be. And you know you're meant to be here helping others. So live in compassion, ground in compassion, and just send everybody love and peace and peacefulness. Everybody's moving and doing the best that they can. And just keep aligning to that new vibrational experience that is fully you and fully vibrant in who you are. So really fall in love with that part of you. And we're wishing you love and grace. Remember, our books are all online. Yay, so glad I got these copies. So touch into our books. And again, if you wanted to book an appointment with me for any of the things we talked about today, realignment or refinement of your daily practices, refinement and a realignment with your guides and your teams and what you're most excited to co-create. I am a creative consultant and helping everybody realign to the highest vibrational grids in their higher self. And we thank you so much. We love you so much. And we thank you so much, Spirit, for always being with us, and just call upon the beings of beautiful, benevolent light. We love you so dearly. Thank you, dear lighted ones. We wish you the very best of your day, and rainbow hugs and rainbow kisses.